All right. Wow, that's really loud. Hey, Chris, can you turn it down just a hair? Sorry, we had adjusted volume settings. Yeah, I know if it's this loud, volume settings got weird because we upgraded a thing. So I didn't want to accidentally, we have people joining us at home online, didn't want to accidentally blow their eardrums out because we upgraded something. But welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. We're here in Jenny Jump State Park in Hope, New Jersey. If great place to camp, hike. We have all the trails and whatnot. So big shout out to them for having us here. Uh, so for everyone here who's here, I believe I have a few people kind of wandering down. So to give them a little bit of time to find their seat here, a few things for those, like I did mention, we do live stream these. So we live stream on both Twitch and YouTube. So if you're ever out and about or looking for something fun to do on a Saturday, but you can't physically make it here, both are excellent options to come join us. Say hi in chat, hi online chat. Um, you can also hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let us know we're doing a good job. They're completely free support, which is, you know, anything free in today. You're like, yeah. With that, you can also check us out on our website, uacnj.org. It's where you're going to find a list of all our member clubs because that's right, we are a club made up of other clubs with the goal of trying to get our love of science and astronomy out to as many people as we can. And what better way to do that than get you to join your local club who's going to have tips and tricks for your immediate area that we might not have. Because let me tell you, the observers in New York City know a lot more about how to observe things in New York City than I do out here in Warren County. Very rural area. You can also find a list of all our upcoming and past talks. So if you're ever like, oh, what's up next? You can always go on there and check it out. You can also follow us on our social media pages, our Facebook, our Instagram. We have a Discord channel. Feel free to message us through those, ask any questions, share your fun astronomy images. I do periodically watch those to try and respond to any questions I can. With that, it's time for the safety briefing for everyone here. It is inescapable, and I will probably give it at the end because I always see some people sneaking in thinking they can escape it. You cannot. With that, if you need the restroom, it is the porta potty in the back to my left, your right. It is illuminated by red, so you can find it easy, and so you're not in a dark, unlit porta potty. Red light, very good. We have also a little museum area and gift shop area. I'll be manning that after the presentation. because unfortunately still can't be in two places at once. Even as much as I would love to, I'd get so much more done in my day. um, well, that's less than ideal. Each of those sheds you see over there houses its own telescope. The ones with the roofs rolled off is are open and have a volunteer manning the scope. So feel free to ask any of our volunteers. What are they viewing through the telescopes? And if there's a favorite object and it happens to be up in the night sky, because not all objects are up in the same time, which is why we have Lonnie to tell us what is actually up in the night sky. Uh, Also, when we go to leave, we are using our headlights. We do not like getting run over. We do not like filling out paperwork or get medical bills from getting run over. So, again, headlights on cars, do use them. That being said, any flashlights or headlamps we might be using, cell phones, do try and keep those lights pointed towards the ground. We don't need to accidentally blind people and ruin night vision. We don't need any flashlight raves going on. With that, tonight's talk is What's Up in the October Sky, given by our very own Lonny Buinis.
Thank you.
Lonnie has been giving this talk series since UACNJ opened in 1994. He's received degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in Physics and Computer Science, and then went on to learn space art, animation, and video on his own. Lonnie is the only member of the IAA.org. No. Is that .org?
Triple A.
I forgot. I forgot an A. There's too many A's.
Yep.
Who specializes in virtual reality worlds. He wrote the first interactive space history ebook and is most pleased to have married Mary Jan, his narrator, who is with us tonight hiding. But she's hiding because she has a very cute puppy who wants to say hi to everyone, and we needed her to calm down just a little bit because she wanted to say hi.
She did.
All right, with that, here's Lonnie.
Thank you very much, Kim. And thanks to Chris behind the scenes. Oh, thank you, everyone. Anybody never been here before? I can actually see hands. Yeah, all right, welcome. Welcome. We do this every month. The first Saturday of each month is What's Up in the Sky. So, of course, during the winter months, when it's too cold to be up here, we'll be doing this virtually. So do join us again. This time it's What's Up in the October Sky, and we're looking directly, when we look straight up in the south, we see this huge square, which we amateur astronomers have imaginatively called the Great Square. Got it? Good. There's going to be a lot of technical terms tonight, all right, so there'll be a test later. The Great Square helps us find that object which is the most distant thing that you can see with the unaided eye in the universe. And it is a galaxy like our Milky Way, the Andromeda Galaxy, and it is right there, which you can't see in this image. But we're going to be looking at things bit by bit. So let's start with the events. Now I'm going to have you memorize all this. I see everybody furiously taking notes on iPads, phones. No? Very disappointing. I know you're all tired. It's okay. You don't have to take notes. I'll be eliminating some events like the new moon that we all missed, October 2nd. That's when the moon is in the daytime sky, which means it doesn't interfere with night viewing. Great time to see things. And the eclipse of the moon that happens not every month, but every once in a while when it lines up just right, crossing the sun. We in New Jersey can't see it, so forget that one. Also, we can forget the Orionid meteor shower, which will be interfered by the full moon. There's where the eclipse will be seen. If you can go out to the Pacific Ocean, more power to you. Or Patagonia. Anybody going to Patagonia? I see no volunteers. Oh, somebody? Okay, good. So let's just look at the stuff. The Orionid meteor shower. I like to talk about meteor showers when they come up. But the two big ones are in August, the Perseids and the Geminids in December. So, of course, if you come for the talk in December, which is What's up in very, very shy audience? In what? December? Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Lonnie, just quick.
Yeah.
There is a Mercedes parked right here. Your tail lights are on. We don't want your battery to go dead. So if you happen to have that second car parked in, I think that's a Mercedes. I don't know car logos. Not a car person. Uh, Next to the lady waving her cell phone in her car. Thank you.
Great. That was, thank you for that commercial interruption. Uh, but that's important. So the Orionid meteor shower, the 21st, it's named after the constellation that they seem to come from. And it seems to come from one point. Just like railroad tracks meeting in the distance, the meteors are not coming from a point. They're traveling together in a stream, but it's perspective that makes it look like it's coming from a point. If you want to, look for these very fast meteors at 150,000 miles an hour. That's 200 times the speed of sound. They disappear in a fraction of a second. Short trails. These are called by the scientific term fast. Fast meteors. About 20 per hour, which means in New Jersey, where I live in Bergen County, I might see one or probably zero. But you know what? Try it anyway. Try it. The full moon's going to be getting in the way. So let's ignore, oh yeah, special equipment. You need special equipment to see meteors. Need a comfortable chair. So let's start with the planets, which are lining up very nicely with the moon. The moon, the sun, the planets all line up in a straight line across the signs of the zodiac. Why? Because the solar system is flat. Oh, very good. Who said that? Raise your hand. All right, you, get out. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Thank you very much for your assistance. I will not penalize answers from the audience, whether they're right or wrong. We're all here to learn. So we've got some really cool stuff happening here as the moon passes all of these planets, starting with the October 5th, which is coming up really fast. What I'm going to do is use a program to simulate the sky, and it's free. My favorite kind of program. You can install it. You can run it off a website if you don't want to install it. You can run it on any mobile device, and that's free too. It's called Stellarium, and I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So we're looking at the sky at 19:11 at night. 19, what hour is that? Very good. You subtracted 12 for military time to get our PM, 7 p.m. Look low in the sky, and you will see the date and the time flying. No, you won't. You won't see that. But you will see the planets, the planet Venus near the moon. If I go back earlier in time, let's cheat a little bit. Well, if I go back too far at 6, the sky's not dark enough. So if you want to see the moon setting in the trees right there, we have to go back a little bit. Like that. Can you do that in real life? No. That's why I like Stellarium. The new moon sits in the old moon's arms. It's a poetic way to describe the light that lights up the dark side of the moon. Where is that light coming from? Not the sun. Here's the sunlight, very thin, because the sun is right down there lighting up. If you hold the sphere in a flashlight at the right angle, it'll look like a sliver. No, nope, that light is coming from Earth. It's called Earthshine. So if you were on the moon looking towards the Earth, you would see a blue landscape, dark but bluish, from the Earth's oceans. Very cool. If we go forward in time to the 14th, then something happens at night that's really cool. Elsewhere. We're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to go to 8:02 at night. And I'm going to, see, I can use Stellarium like one of the star maps that we happen to sell in our gift shop. Shameless advertisement. It's called a planisphere circular star map. The thing you can do with computer programs that you can't with a flat piece of paper is zoom in. And if I do that on the 14th, around 8 o'clock at night or after, before they get too low in the sky, the moon is going to hide the planet Saturn from Asia and Africa. Not from New Jersey, but the two will make a beautiful close approach. It's called a conjunction, a coming together. Moon and the planet Saturn. How do they look in binoculars? More like that, or to the naked eye. Right? We can start to see features in a small telescope, but when the moon is past quarter, going towards full, it's really a terrible time to see details like craters. The lighting is not favorable. What about the planet Saturn? Well, I'm going to need to magnify that a lot more. If you look on the bottom, you can see the field of view, 11 degrees. I'm going to go down to about telescope size, 1 degree field of view. Still can't see much. Use some magnification, 70 power, 80, 100. You might just barely see the rings of Saturn. I know the people way in the back are probably having trouble. And several moons. Saturn has at last count of about 165 or 164 moons. It holds the record in the solar system currently. Jupiter has only 95. But watch Saturn in a telescope this year and next through March. Come here, visit the amateur astronomers who have their scopes out as well as the telescopes in the observatories, and ask them to show you Saturn. The rings are going to disappear as they do every 14 years. As Saturn goes around the sun every 29 years, about half of that, 14 or 14 and a half years, the rings open and close and open and close, because Saturn is tipped to its orbit around the sun, just like the Earth is tipped. 23.4 degrees, Saturn is 29 degrees. And because the two line up in different ways, we see the rings tipping, disappearing. Why? Why would the rings disappear? They're huge. Saturn is 9 Earths across. The rings are twice that. Why did they disappear? It's because they're only 30 feet thick. Billions of tiny moonlets. So watch them disappear in March. People are trying to figure this out years ago. From the best telescopes in the world, they could only tell that the rings were thinner than 100 miles. Now, we've actually measured them by robots. Robot spacecraft. Look how far I have to zoom out to see the constellation that Saturn is in the stars of Aquarius. Is Saturn next to those stars? Is it near those stars? It looks near, right? Distance from the sun, 9.6 astronomical units. So what's an astronomical unit? A period, U period? Right, very good. Thank you, sir. The distance from Earth to sun, 93 million miles. So miles, too many zeros, we don't use that. We use an AU. The stars are 65,000 AU per light year. So if I pick this one in Aquarius, Alpha, the brightest star, Sadalmelik, the ancient Arabic name, it is 523.5 light years away. Multiply that by 6 trillion miles per light year. Quick! 6 trillion times 525. No, that's okay. You don't have to do that. It's a lot of miles. 6 trillion, that's 6 followed by 12 zeros, times 523 light years. It's a lot. In other words, it's a lot of miles, right? Oh, we're going to have time for plenty of questions later. Keep your questions in mind. We're going to answer questions online and from the audience here. So we say that a planet and the moon is in a constellation. It's not really near those stars. What about the end of the month, the 21st and the 23rd? Let's go forward in time. October 14, 17, 18, 19, 21. If you look at the sky late enough towards the letter S, go outside, right here at Jenny Jump. South is that way. You look for letter S, correct? No. No, I'm going to be lying to you throughout this presentation. I'm hoping that you'll catch me. Fact check me, right? Get your phones out. Right, you're not going to see the letter S. We can turn these things off. We can make things very difficult in starring. We can make it look just like the real sky. No names, no pictures, no star patterns. I can even turn off the cardinal points, the directions. But I want to make it a little bit easier so it looks like the star charts that you can buy here in our gift shop. Woo! There's my constellation. I was supposed to be, the sun was supposed to be there when I was born. Capricornus, half goat, half fish. Capricornus, yeah, I don't know. Have you ever seen one of those? I hope not. That's what it looks like. I don't know how they got a fish goat out of that. But the sun was actually here in the teapot shaped group of stars called the teapot. Very good. Sagittarius, the archer, is part man, part horse. What do you call that? Centaur, yeah, thank you. That's supposed to be a centaur. I don't know how they got a centaur out of that. But we amateur astronomers, that's what I am. I do this for love, not for money. I'm an amateur astronomer. We call that the teapot. Kind of looks like one. And that's where you see the Milky Way flying up over the summer, crossing the whole sky from end to end, going through the summer triangle, which is still up this time of year. I just looked up at the start of my talk. This way, just look straight up. Don't do it there, people under the tent. But if you go out, when I'm done talking, look straight up, you'll see 3 stars that make a triangle. So amateur astronomers have very imaginatively called this the summer triangle. Very good. I see some of you have lost your shyness. Yeah, those are 3 bright stars, all of which have been in science fiction, by the way. Vega, or Vega, was in the movie and book Contact by Carl Sagan. Deneb, the Tale of the Swan, the Nebians in Star Trek, and Altair in The Eagle was in the movie Forbidden Planet from 1956. It's a classic. So if you look straight up, you'll see stars of summer. If you look way down, the stars of summer will be disappearing. This is one of the last times you can see Sagittarius, and the center of our galaxy is right there. There's a gigantic multi-million sun mass black hole right there. See it? Can you see a black hole? No. Why? Because it's black. Right. It's invisible. It sucks in all light. Although we can tell it's there because there's usually stuff falling into it. And that's what makes it possible to detect a black hole. The star of our show this time of the year is this gigantic square, the great square of the flying horse, Pegasus. Now, a long time ago, they chopped Pegasus in half to make Andromeda the princess. I don't know who did this. I'd like to talk to them, but it was thousands of years ago. And you can use Andromeda and Pegasus's star here, Alpha Andromedae. Alpheratz is the name. Alpha is the first letter in the Greek alphabet, so that's the brightest star. Beta would be the second brightest, gamma the third. So astronomers have these abbreviations for constellations. For Andromeda, it's always 3 letters, A-N-D, and. Alpha Andromedae. Count 2 stars over and 2 up. Let's remove the picture. Let's remove the lines. 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's how you find an object in the Guinness Book of World Records. 2.5 million light years away, we can still see it with the naked eye. You don't need binoculars. You don't need a telescope. You do need dark skies like you have here at UACNJ, one of the darkest sites in New Jersey. 2 stars down, 2 stars up in a little Y-shaped group that's hard to see if you live where there's a lot of light pollution. Zoom in and you'll see a fuzzy cloud several times the size of the full moon. A long time ago, people thought it was a gas cloud, a nebula, like other nebulas in the sky within our galaxy. It was only in my father's lifetime, when he was a kid, they discovered that the galaxies, there are other galaxies moving away from us everywhere we look. And this is the nearest one. And it is not moving away from us. We and Andromeda are moving toward one another. And in the news recently, in case you were worried, we thought we were going to collide with Andromeda in only 3 billion years. Oh my! But never panic, because the new number is 5 billion years. Whew. We have some breathing room. And even newer news just released last week, there's a 50-50 chance we'll miss Andromeda altogether. However, the two galaxies are doing a long, slow dance lasting billions of years, and one day they will merge. They won't collide because the stars in them are so sparse that they'll miss one another. But we will become one massive giant galaxy. In larger telescopes, this is the way Andromeda might look in one of our larger telescopes here. Check out the Lonny Buinis Observatory, one of the 6. Sometimes they project an image from the telescope on the side of the building. Ask them to show you Andromeda if the sky's not too hazy. And you'll see a galaxy that looks the way our Milky Way would look from Andromeda. It would have dark dust lanes, older reddish stars towards the middle, glowing orangey or reddish. Blue, hot, super hot young blue stars shining their light against gas, hydrogen gas, glowing blue. And 2 little mini galaxies, satellites going around the main galaxy. Both Andromeda and we, the Milky Way, have dozens of mini galaxies, but these 2 are the biggest and brightest. On Earth, we can see them. Have you ever been south of the equator? Anyone see the Magellanic Clouds? Did you see them? I'm very jealous, sir. I have never seen them. But they look like little detached clouds, right? Little pieces of the Milky Way that got away. Those are little galaxies that collided with us millions of years ago and came out again. On long exposure photos, we can see a tail of stars left behind. That's what our galaxy looks like in close-up. Andromeda is a little bit bigger, but we've discovered that our Milky Way has not 100 billion stars in it, which I was told when I was a kid, but about 1 trillion. That's 1,000 billion stars. That's 1 followed by 12 zeros. Trillion stars. Andromeda is even bigger. Fun to find this time of the year. Look for the farthest thing that you can see in the universe. Whoops, didn't mean to turn that on. You're going to see satellites flying by every so often. Down below Andromeda are 2 creatures that swim in the sea. Pisces are fish. Yep, the fishes. Is it fish or fishes for plural? Is it either? Oh, Pisces, yep. What's a plural of fish? Fish. Unless you're talking about 2 different species, then it's fishes. Boy, that's confusing. So, you want to see the planet Saturn, you want to see constellations, you want to go out tonight, and what you want to do, now those are the planets. We can come back to this. I want to show you the rest of my presentation. We can come back to looking at it in simulation. We do have other events happening that I'd like to go over briefly, and that's October 12th, about a week from now. The comet, which has a very easy to remember name, boy, is that a great name, C/2023A3, rolls right off the tongue. It's like Halley's Comet, Comet C/2023A3. Yeah, it's at its brightest on October 12th. Here's a picture of it taken by Alex Lang in New Zealand. Pretty cool, long tail, that's dust being blown back as the comet evaporates, right? Sometimes you can also see an ion tail that's straight and blue, but here it's very faint. And that's blown back by the pressure of sunlight, believe it or not. Ion trail is atoms that have an extra charge, ionized. And so they lose electrons and glow bluish. The comet has been getting brighter and brighter the last few months, and it will start to dim quickly as it moves away from Earth and Sun. And right now you can find it in the constellation Virgo, not too far from Leo, which is a springtime constellation. Pardon me. So it's going to be moving pretty fast. Look at that, how fast in October, early October, it's below Leo, and then through Virgo, and by October 18th, it's in Serpens, the Serpens. Yeah, the serpent, snake. Here's a picture by space artist Don Davis, who just earlier today gave me permission to use one of his pictures in my book that Kim mentioned. I'll show you that later. It's a photo made by a space artist, not art of the kind that he paints or does digitally. We have a full moon coming up every month. We've got phases of the moon. New, we talked about that, and full in the middle of the month on the 17th. And it also happens to be a super moon. So some of you probably heard that the moon's going to be looking huge in the sky, gigantic and super bright. Wrong. It's not at all what a supermoon is. The supermoon can happen only when the moon is full and when it's closest to Earth, because the moon does not go around the Earth in a circle. It goes around in an ellipse, a semi-squashed, slightly squashed circle that would be kind of hard to see with the eye if you could see the orbit. I like moongiant.com because you can see the phases of the moon. You can know when to look at faint objects in the sky when the moon is new. You can know when not to look at faint objects when the moon ruins everything by being too bright when it's full. And then you can look in the evening sky for craters on the moon, which gets a raking angle from sunlight when the moon is right due south at sunset. Or if you like to get up at 5 in the morning, you can look at the last quarter moon, doing the same thing in the south. Moving towards the sun to the east, the waning moon. These are the waning phases. What's wane? Grow thinner, grow smaller. Waxing moon, right? The moon is getting more and more wax on it, so it looks brighter. Nope, I just made that up. No, waxing means growing larger towards full.
Wax on, wax off.
That's it. Thank you.
Wax on.
Every full moon has a name. This is the hunter's moon because the moonlight makes it easy to find your prey. It's also a super hunter's moon. And we had the harvest full moon earlier. Good time to harvest crops, September. This one is the October hunter's moon. It's a super moon this time because the moon happens to be closest to the Earth when it's full just this time. Doesn't always happen. There's a slight difference in the distance from closest point, farthest point, when the moon is away, A, apogee, or when it's P at perigee, pretty close. P, pretty close. There's the difference. Not very much. And the difference in size, not very much. So it's a little bigger, it's a little brighter, 14% bigger, 30% brighter. Rather disappointing, but fun. We're still waiting very impatiently. I'm tapping my foot because I've been waiting since April for this star to blow up. Actually, the star is not going to blow up. It's called a nova for new, nova, because it's actually a double star. Giant red star embedded in a huge cloud, which is not in this piece of artwork, not a real picture. But the accretion disk around the red star is there, and that's material being drawn by the gravity of a little white dwarf star, the size of Earth. Tiny. Earth, 8,000 miles across, the sun, 800,000 miles across. You see, star is a lot bigger than planets. But what happens is sometimes that material builds up, and then boom, a nuclear explosion brighter than both stars. So the star is going to brighten from magnitude plus 10. Now there's a scale that astronomers use. Faintest star you can see with the eye, New Jersey, if you have bad skies, plus 5. The higher the number, the fainter the star. I know, it's silly. The astronomers made this up actually thousands of years ago. And so the scale is every 5 numbers is 100 times fainter or brighter. So going from plus 5 to plus 10 is 100. The star is expected to brighten to plus 2, which you can see with the naked eye. That's 1,600 times brighter. Right? Has it happened yet? No. But we know it's going to happen because in 1946, it happened exactly the same way. It dimmed and it brightened in the same pattern that it did in 2018 and last year. So we're expecting to see the star in Corona, the crown next to Hercules, whose one of his labors was to rescue a golden crown. And you're going to look right there at that red dot, red circle. Let's make this a little bigger. In Stellarium, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars in the crown. This one is Epsilon, this one's Delta. Make a triangle with those 2 stars like this, and you will find the Blaze star. And you can't see it now, can barely see it in a small telescope, if at all. Now, before I go back to looking at the sky in simulation in Stellarium, where we can have plenty of questions, if you want to get started in astronomy, an inexpensive way is binoculars, right? Because if you get bored with looking at the sky, you can look at birds, you can spy on your neighbors. I don't recommend it. The prices have come way down, and you can't possibly read that from where you are. But instead of spending hundreds of dollars, I see prices here for large binoculars ranging from $45 to $60. Beginner telescopes have come way down since I was a kid when everything was $200 on up. You can get a Celestron first scope for $79, I believe. So the prices have come way down. We used to give that away as a gift in a raffle, or sell one right here. I think Kim is looking for one right now. That's one of the brands. But there are many. And the difference in models are either mirror type telescope, reflect, right? A mirror reflects, or refractor with a lens. If you want to get to look at more faint objects, then the best bet, best bang for your buck is Dobsonian, named after Dobson, who invented this. It's a simple mount which removes the expense, but bigger lenses, or a bigger mirror, actually, 8 or 10 inches. And of course, these are going to cost more, but they're much more economical than the thousands of dollars you would spend on a catadioptric telescope, which has a mirror and a lens and a second mirror. So the light comes in this direction, hits a mirror and back, hits a little mirror in the front on this lens, goes back through a hole in the main mirror. So in other words, it's a big, long focal length compressed into a nice compact design. So you'll see that kind of telescope here. You'll see reflectors, refractors, all kinds of sizes, ranging from 2.4 inches. Some of you have refractors like that. Bring them with you. We'll help you use them. You'll see mirror telescopes this big, this big. There's a 16-inch in the Lonny Buinis Observatory. Why does that jerk keep talking about himself, the Lonny Buinis Observatory? Because it's there. There's the Barry Malpass Observatory. There's 6 observatories. Check them out after I finish talking. I'm going to give you some references. Memorize these. Take notes. Nobody scribbles furiously. Does anybody know what a pencil is? Anybody? No. Pen? No.
Alternatively, if you forgot the pen and paper, we do save the presentation, so you can always go back and review.
Yeah, you can watch this whole thing all over again. So there's, repeat after me, Uacnage. Uacnage. Yes, UACNJ. Sounds like somebody sneezing. And that is the umbrella organization, as Kim mentioned, of all different astronomy organizations, planetaria, clubs from New Jersey, some from New York and Pennsylvania. Sky and Telescope Astronomy are in print after many decades. You can read them in print, you can read them online, you can subscribe, you can get large parts of their websites for free. And if you forget everything else I've said tonight, even you can forget the Lonny Buinis Observatory, space.com, the easiest thing to remember, has got news and science. Very easy. Space.com. I don't work for them. I only mentioned it as a reference. I counted 21 Android apps on my Android phone. There are just as many iPhone apps in the Apple Store, These are, most of them, except for one or two, are free. Some are good for photography, some are good for iPhones, some are good for anything. I liked Skyview, but that's just me. And if you don't like to download and install anything, you can run the supercomputers at stellarium-web.org. And that's an actual screen capture from tonight, about 8 o'clock, looking south, where the planet Saturn is in Aquarius. Who's Aquarius? The water carrier, Aquarius. Celestia lets you fly through space. I did not demonstrate the use of that tonight because we want to get to look at the real sky. But that's really cool because you can see there's only two places in the solar system where the rings of Saturn are tipped open. One of them is on the moon Iapetus, which has an eccentric, tilted orbit. So if you put a hotel on Iapetus, you would, every 79 days, it goes around Saturn. So half of 79 is about 40, right? A little less than 40. Every 40 days, Saturn does this. Open, close, open, close. There's only one other place in the solar system where that happens. Where is it? Earth. Yeah, Earth. We're going to see it in March. The rings will disappear. So, to review, planets, October, early October, middle October, Saturn. End of October, the moon passes Jupiter and Mars. I forgot to show you that. You want to see that after 10 o'clock for Jupiter and after midnight for Mars, because you have to wait for those planets to rise. So if you can't wait, if you have to go to bed earlier, come back to What's Up in November. I'll be doing that virtually. Join me. We do this every month. So don't forget the comet on the 12th, the moon near Saturn in the middle of the month, which is near full moon, super moon. See if you can tell if the moon is bigger and brighter. So the big question, when? When is Corona Borealis, T Corona Borealis, going to explode as a nova? We don't know. You could be the first to discover it. Very exciting. This is artwork by David A. Hardy, the oldest living space artist. He's 88. He lives in England, and he painted the red giant, the clouds surrounding it, and the accretion disk with the white dwarf star. Some news, some space history. October 24th marks the anniversary from 1946 of the first picture of the Earth taken on a V2 rocket from space. Wow, superb. You can see your house from here. Look. Yeah, quality not so good, but it was the first. Thank you very much. You can find me at astronomyinmotion.com, where you can play with 3D objects with your fingers on a screen or a mouse or joystick. You can check out Mars at your fingertips for sale, but there's a big free version, and that's where you'll be able to contact me. You've been a terrific audience. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for another great presentation, Lonny. So as you mentioned, we're going to be doing the question and answer session because I know a couple questions did come in online. I know for a fact you guys had a couple questions. But first, because I saw a few people sneaking in, we must do the safety briefing because I know a lot of people try and sneak away to go stargazing. First off, if you need to use the restroom, that is the porta potty in back. To my left, your right, it is illuminated by red. After the question and answer session, I'll be in the little museum and gift shop area to help you out there and answer any questions. Unfortunately, I cannot be in two places at once. When we go to leave, we are using our headlights. We do not want to get run over. Medical bills are just obscene, so let's just avoid that hassle entirely. If we're using any flashlights to get around, because it is dark, it is a state park and not very well lit, which is great for stargazing, not so great when you're night blind. Do try and keep those flashlights, headlamps pointed towards the ground. As Lonny mentioned, we do have volunteers out manning telescopes in each of the roll-off, in the sheds with the roll-off roofs. If the roof is rolled off, that is open. I believe a few astronomers also have their personal telescopes set up. So feel free to ask them what they're doing, what they're viewing. I'm sure they would love to answer that. Not all of them are set up for viewing through. Some of them are doing astrophotography and have a camera where that eyepiece would be. With that, how question and answer session is going to work. For the people here, you're going to raise your hand and kind of keep your hand up until I get to you with the microphone. Luckily, we have now installed some light, so you're not just shapes in the void of darkness. I can actually see that you're human. Improvements. Online people, you get the easy job, you just get to type. So I'm going to start it out with our first online question. And it was, can we see the aurora out here? The news had said something that it would be out in passing.
Ooh, I have seen the aurora from Jenny Jump from here once, years ago, over the roof of the building. That's which is towards north, right? You want to see aurora towards the north because it's the Earth's magnetic field coming in at the North Pole that focuses those charged particles. So the answer is I don't know. I hope so.
So the yeah, I was going
Oh,
to get to that. So here in Jersey, it is not visible naked eye. Uh, I have been told that some of our astrophotographers will try to see if they can catch it on camera because cameras are much better at gathering light information than our eyeballs. But we don't know that that'll be possible, and also that's supposed to happen much later, past when we are actually open. So unfortunately, it does not look like it is a good night for that. So, any questions out here? I know someone had one in the center there towards the beginning. I see it. I hear a lot of crickets. I see very none hands.
so
Oh, hold on.
Lonnie, do you know where the T, Corona Borealis, where the T stands for? What it stands for? How they got that?
I think it's just T. It's like there are other, they ran out of designations. Sometimes they use Greek letters for the brighter ones. Very often astronomers have several catalogs with complex numbers like SAO 2347-86 degrees. It's crazy. I don't know. I'll look that up. Thank you. Don't know exactly.
Right. So thought I saw one.
The Milky Way. Yeah. Would we be able to see the Milky Way for the next few hours in the sky?
You
That's right
can
above.
you can try. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, once your eyes get dark adapted, it looks like it's clear enough right overhead. You'll see part of it going through Cygnus the Cross, which is a swan. It looks like a cross shape, part of the summer triangle. So give it a try. There you go. We got some enthusiastic attempters. Let us know if you see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does take us a few minutes to get used to the dark. Fully dark adapted, more than a half hour.
I'm gonna have to have Chris fix that. The lights changed
Oh
colors,
yeah,
and
that's
that
really cool.
that's
It
not
makes it a
supposed to
little
happen.
no, but a little easier to see people.
Um,
That's a bonus.
Sorry, got distracted. Our next online question is: Do you know when the Europa Clipper is supposed to get launched?
Oh yeah, that's supposed to be
This month.
late. Yeah, this month, and it's going to take several flybys to build up speed. It'll be a couple of years, I think, before it gets anywhere close to Jupiter. That's very exciting. We do need a lander, and I don't think that there's a lander there, but it's going to try to fly through some of those plumes that are coming out of Europa. Did you hear about those? Water, ice. So there may be microorganisms under the surface of the ice of Europa. And there might even be advanced life if there's enough activity from the tidal forces of Jupiter on Europa's crust.
All right. So, uh, someone, one of our friends online, did some research. On the NASA website, they said the first possible launch window starts around the 10th, and there's like one every night, and it's weather dependent.
Yeah.
So
This is Europa.
if you go to NASA, the NASA website, the official one, likely there will be news articles likely out for, hey, it's launching. So do keep an eye out there. Was there another question out here? Oh, there we go.
Why are the lights red?
Why are the lights red? The lights are red because it allows me a little extra light so I don't trip over people sitting, and you guys aren't so much just shapes in the void of darkness.
Yeah, we
But
don't want,
it's about the least offensive to your eyeballs,
yeah.
where it's not. It will affect your night vision, but nowhere near as much as the blue lights, which is why I was like, why are they white now?
We just like to keep you guessing.
So we do try and use red light just because it gives you enough to see things, but keeps as much of the dark vision intact as possible. Whereas blue light is very alarming and bright and kind of destroys your night vision a lot quicker. All right, so, and people online, do start getting your questions in. I don't want to accidentally miss any. And our next online question is, do we still not have a more accurate idea of when the corona boreal, no, not the T corona thing, will do the thing, or are we just stuck watching the pot hoping the water boils?
The latter assessment is correct. We know that it's every 80 years, but it's like many natural phenomena. It's a little bit irregular. Like Old Faithful, for instance, the geyser in Yellowstone, doesn't go off exactly as predicted. In fact, its period is changing. So the same thing could be happening to T corona borealis.
Trust me, all of the astronomers are like ready to be the kid with the stick going,
Yeah, oh,
hey, do something.
Yeah, they're on
Do
pins and
something.
needles. Everybody's watching.
All right, was there another question? I see one all the way in the back there. Do keep your hand up so I can find you.
So we have the really small asteroid that's the like mini moon that they're kind of referring to. Is there any
Yes.
equipment here that we'd be able to see that, or?
No, it's too small. I think it's about a few meters across, like that. So radar might get a hint of its shape. They've done that for some asteroids. It can actually bounce radar off it and get an idea of the overall lumpiness. I've actually animated 8 or 9 asteroids that are available as models from NASA that you can print. You can 3D print 8 asteroids. Very cool. But no, it's a little too small. Now, Apophis, April 13, 2029, you'll still be around. That one's coming closer than our geosynchronous satellites, about 20,000 miles. That's big. That's about 1,200 feet across. We're going to get a good look at that.
So from what information I saw, in order to see what the news has decided to dub a mini moon, it's not a moon, it's not going, it just happens to be kind of sucked in and going, I'm free, and off into the distance. You would need a telescope with a minimum diameter of like 30 inches, and that's a really big scope. And in addition to that, you need a camera attached to it because you still would not be able to see it through an eyepiece attached. So you need the extra light gathering of the camera. So very small. Not, unfortunately, we currently do not have the equipment that would be able to handle such a daunting task.
And it's pretty far away, too. Millions. Not as close as Apophis and others have come.
All right, and our next online question. Has Lonnie ever played any of the Kerbal Space Program computer games?
Oh, no, well, let's see. Long time ago. Nope, not lately.
You should. They're actually kind of fun.
Oh, I have played with Universe. Oh, what is it called? It's from you get it from Steam, STEAM. I have a subscription. I forget the name of the thing, but with this program, you can crash planets into each other. Very exciting.
Yeah, this actually Kerbal Space Program, for anyone who doesn't know, there's plenty of people who do know. Computer game, Little Green Men, and it takes you through the steps of learning aerodynamics, learning rocket science, learning how much thrust you need, how much propellant you need, how people launch to places, how to form an orbit, and all the math involved. So if you're looking for like, hey, I wonder, would I be interested in rocket science? Excellent game to check out. It's a little beyond me. I'm kind of fly by the seat of my pants, fly by wire. So, any more questions? Bueller? All right. Oh, one of our YouTube viewers says the mini moon is magnitude 22, which is beyond the ability of most camera equipped telescopes. For reference, Pluto is magnitude 14, and we cannot get that here anymore. Light pollution. So, unfortunately, that the mini moon is a no-go.
Yeah, in fact, that's as faint as the difference in T Corona Borealis, 8 magnitudes, about 15 or 1600 times.
All right. And last call for any questions. All right. I want to thank you all for joining us, both here in person in the state park and online. Online people, do hit those like and subscribe and follow buttons. They're all free actions. If you happen to be feeling generous, we are a nonprofit. We do very much function off of everyone's generosity, and we do want to thank you for that. It helps with paying the bills, keeping our programs free, and improving new improvements to the various things we do, such as the lights, so that I'm not as light blind tripping over people in the dark. Do check us out on our website, uacnj.org, as well as our social medias, our Facebook, our Instagram, our Discord channel, all available on our website. And with that, everyone have a great night, clear skies, and good seeing.
Thank you.